I think the next thing that I wanted to jump into was to talk about or show you downloading another sample from our website that's kind of a generic application. It's set up kind of so that you can use it for a broad set of things. It's not very customized, but you can actually download it, start playing with it, and really tailor it to the needs of an end user. So you can customize the logo, change some fields as needed, and kind of lock it down to a more specific task. So I'm going to go back to the Solution Center. So I'm going to go back to our Welcome tab in TracerPlus Desktop. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to Search Online Samples. And the one I wanted to jump into, which is a pretty generic application again, is this tool and equipment tracking session on our website. So I'm going to select that one. And you can see from the screenshot, the application is really meant to scan some piece of equipment, look up the description, select from a drop-down list who's taking this equipment out, and then collect a signature for that particular piece of equipment. I'm going to turn this into kind of a public safety application where for an emergency response force, where you can scan these items as they're going out for the emergency response, keep track of them, and then so that when you come back and check them in, you know that all of the items have been returned, and that you can kind of have an audit trail as to what made it out during that response, and then what came back into the officer headquarters. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish, just like the last example, this import process. And again, it'll close the fire extinguisher project that I have open. And I'm going to overwrite it. Okay, so now in this project here, you can see I have 3 forms. There's a checkout form, a check-in form, and an equipment list. So similar to the fire extinguisher, the equipment list will be loaded up with all of the equipment from our, in the online sample, the tool room, but from our response force, it's going to be all of the emergency equipment that may be loaded in the emergency equipment inventory. And then there's 2 check-in and check-out forms for scanning those items in and out of inventory. Okay, so I'm going to select the checkout first. And what I really want to do here is customize it again to an end user's need, maybe lock it down to a specific region. So it kind of looks like a custom application, but it was really just a generic one that we downloaded from the website and customized it, locked it down for a particular task, and it really looks more tailored to the end user's needs. So some things I'm going to do here, I'm going to, in our case, select the signature field, and like you saw from the screenshot, when you were checking the items out of the inventory, you were collecting a signature. My guess is that would be too slow for this type of application. You probably just want to do something like scan a badge and then start scanning all of the items. So I'm going to go ahead and change the signature field to be a badge ID field, so maybe it was something you can scan. I'm going to change its types from, instead of being a signature, back to be just a text field. So you can just scan that text, scan that badge ID, it enters it into the field, and you can continue on. Something else I'll do here is for the badge ID and the after scan settings, I'm going to turn off clear on submit. So maybe the guy checking all of these items out will just scan that badge ID once and then start scanning items, and it's not going to remove his badge ID for any of those items that he's then scanning. So it's all assigning the equipment as they're going out the emergency response office. Okay, so the next thing maybe I'll change this checkout to here. Right now, it's a drop-down, and from the website, it doesn't have any items in the drop-down. Now, this field is really to say who the item's going out to as it's going out the door, so you have kind of an audit trail as to who is using this. So I'm going to go ahead maybe and add a couple items to this. I think I had some here, but I forgot which ones I was going to use. So let's add some items here. Captain Kirk, Lieutenant Dan. Forget which ones I had here, but we'll just add some other items, Captain Dan, and so on. Okay, so I'm just adding items to the drop-down. This is what will be available in the drop-down as you're scanning these items out, and this would be really customized to the end user. In this case, we're adding it in the design tool, but we can also sync these items from a back-end system so that if they are constantly changing, we'll be able to update those every time you sync the device. So I'll just add a couple there. And then the next thing I want to do here is actually jump over to the form designer and customize the look of this form so that it looks more locked down to an end user and maybe customized towards this task force. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing is maybe select this little toolbox and change the image that's selected there. And I do have one that we pre-configured here for a county's emergency response force logo. Okay, so I'm going to add that here. It looks a little bit big, so I'm going to resize it slightly. Okay, so it's a lockdown logo. Maybe I'll change the background for them. And actually, just to note, these features here that I'm showing you are all new to TracerPlus desktop version 6. With version 6, we gave the ability to really customize all of the colors, the fonts, the font sizes on the form, so you can really give it a custom look. So it looks like it was custom coded for a particular end user, but it's really just configuration. So I'm going ahead, I'm going to start changing some of these. Let's do, I have here what's called safety green, so let's add that to our button colors. Okay, so I'm just changing the colors of some of the buttons. I think I had a tan for this, so let me go ahead and change that. So I'm really just going through changing some of the colors on the form, customizing it to this particular county's emergency response force. Maybe this equipment ID, let's match the color to that green. Okay, but you really have a lot of control over how the form looks. Let's change the font to be white. Okay, and maybe just to show you, we'll do like a bold font here. Okay, so you're really customizing how this looks, just going through, adding the fields that you need. Whoops. And actually, I'm going to redo this label here because this is no longer the signature. So let's change that to badge. Okay, and the last thing maybe I'll customize on this form are just these labels to match that that yellow. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, so it's here now I have a customized form, which is kind of specific to this emergency task force for checking equipment out of inventory, and it's now no longer set for just that tool room equipment. So we really locked it down, customized it for an end user. So I think I have everything there. What I'm going to do now is go back to the build deploy, push this new form down to the device so you can see kind of a new version 6 form with the different colors and fonts and so on. Okay, it goes through the deployment process. When it's done, it'll reopen TracerPlus. You'll see the 3 forms that we had in the project, checkout, check-in, and equipment list. And if I actually open up one of these, or this one here, you'll see now we have the new company logo, or the county logo in this case, with all the new colors, the bold font and so on. But we have a nice, quick, customized look to the application.